Mr. Speaker, the CBS News program 60 Minutes devoted more than half of their show on Sunday to a 7-month investigation into Allegiant Air, a low-budget airline based in Las Vegas. The segment was called Allegiant Air, the budget airline flying under the radar. According to CBS, Allegiant is one of the most profitable airlines in the U.S. and made a healthy profit for 60 straight months. And up until word came out about the expose on CBS, its stock was doing pretty well too. In order to reward investors while still selling seats at rock-bottom ticket prices, however, Allegiant pushes their aging second-hand fleet of 99 outdated aircraft beyond their limits. But hey, apparently in corporate America, profits are more important than people if even carrying people is supposedly safely is supposed to be your main concern. So far, the only thing to crash with this airline is its high-flying stock prices, which is down 11% since word of the CBS story first came out. Because 60 Minutes documented incident after incident, more than 100 in less than 2 years, of aborted takeoffs, unscheduled landings, smoke-filled cabins, cabin pressure loss, and other emergency situations. A former prosecutor at the FAA with 30 years of experience says, quote, "You know, if God forbid there is an accident, I think there will be a lot of people saying, well, we knew, and we did nothing," end quote. Mr. Speaker, Allegiant Airline is a tragedy waiting to happen. And they really should know better, as we as a country should know better, because the CEO of Allegiant is none other than one of the founders of ValueJet. Remember them? They were the cut-red airline that was apparently cutting corners on safety to boost their position with stockholders. But they aren't flying anymore because ValueJet Flight 592 with 110 people on board plunged blades after taking off from Miami International Airport. What we learned after the fact was that the airline drove up profits, pushed its fleet to the edge, took extra freight in cargo holds to make extra money, and cut corners on the safety of its passengers. And you know what happened? People died. We've seen this before. Which leads to the very important question for Congress: why isn't anyone doing anything about it? Where is the FAA? Where's the DOT? The committees of jurisdiction here in the House of Representatives? I hear the senators are doing something about it. Why have there been no hearings and so little response from the federal government? 60 Minutes made a compelling case that the regulators are not doing their jobs. Host Steve Croft said, over the last 3 years, the FAA has switched its priorities from actively enforcing safety rules with fines, warning letters, and sanctions, which would become part of the public record so we would all know about the safety of these airlines, to working quietly with the airlines behind the scenes to fix the problems. Yeah, at the backs of the American people that they're supposed to protect. This airline, Allegiant, with 3.5 times as many serious emergency incidents as any other airline, might be a special case, or it might just be typical. But we just don't know, and the American people just don't know. If the FAA isn't doing a good job of making sure Allegiant Air is safe, what else are we missing about the airlines? We ought to demand that the experts inside and outside of Congress get the facts and hold the people accountable. Now, I understand that the dirtiest word in the conservative dictionary is regulation. And frankly, it is not clear that the downside in regulatory oversight happened exclusively or even more rapidly since our current businessman and TV host president took office. But I think it's clear that following the rules, being transparent, and being accountable in American industry, especially the airline industry, where millions of lives are at stake every day, ought to be a top priority. When I sit down to dinner with my family, I want to know that the chicken and vegetables on my plate are safe to eat. My car, my gadgets, and my flight home all deserve rigorous scrutiny. I want to know that the water my grandson drinks is clean. The American people are losing confidence, Mr. Speaker, that the people who are supposed to be watching out for us are really watching out for us when we eat, drink, breathe, travel. There is a big drive in Congress to cut government budgets, cut red tape, crusade against regulation. The other side demonizes regulation almost as much as the president demonizes immigrants. But I just want to make sure that when the federal government and this Congress are cutting budgets, and we're not cutting corners, that allows airplanes with Americans on it, with anybody on it, with human beings on it, to fly out of the sky so that companies can make bigger profits. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.